Alright, soybean. So, this is my soybean plant. You actually can't see this, but it actually says soybean on it. So, these two are actually growing. Now, growing soybean, there's a little bit of a trick you can actually do to make it grow pretty good. These are what I call a hard shell type seed plant. So, basically, you have soybean, and the soybean itself is going to come about, it's going to look like kind of a regular bean here, kind of something like that, with a little white thing in it. Now, whenever you're dealing with a hard shell type plant, you want to extend the time you actually use John's method. So if you you're going to have to use it. These are hard shell type seeds. Very, very hard shell. You don't want to bite into these ones. Now, how you actually have this grow 6 times as fast, you leave it in there for a longer time. The harder the shell, the longer the time you leave it in. Now, this is what I like to call stage 2 or stage 3 hard shellness, whatever you want to do. So some seeds only have a smaller shell. This one has a bit of a thicker one. This one, you don't have to do a break with it. Leave the soybean in there for about 1 hour. 1 hour. Leave it inside of the water for 1 hour. After you're done with that, what you're going to do is you're going to take it out with the tweezers. Don't ever touch the seeds with your hands. I never want to, because I respect the plant that it's going to grow up being. Leave the seed as it is inside of the container that it's actually in. Once you take it out of the container, I put it into a little something like this. I actually cut the bottom of, I think it was a soda cup. I think yeah, it was a Ridge soda cup that I actually put it in. And I put about 4 seeds in there, and only 2 of them germinated. And those 2 are actually used with my method. Those 2 are probably still taking a longer time to germinate, but it's going to take about 2 weeks or so to actually start seeing some green. It's actually going to grow right about here. You actually see the stems, where it's actually going to grow leaves right about here, and then after that it's going to continue growing. There's about 4 leaves on this one. This is about a foot. Within a short period of time I had it in there. Leave it in there with the water. Afterwards it's actually going to grow here. Now when you put it outside, you can plant this before frost, get it started, let it grow to about 2.5 feet, then you put it in the ground outside. When you get it started and put it outside, you have to watch out for weeds. This is a plant that will annoy you. You will have a large weed problem with this. Farmers have a weed problem. In fact, when farmers go up to actually sell the soybeans, they have to make sure they pull the weeds out. Oh yeah, you can't have that in there. They will actually give you a less price for having weeds next to your soybean plant. They do not want to have weeds near that. You're going to have a weed problem with this. And the only reason why is a soybean plant is a really good plant to grow. The problem is not only do they attract weed, but it's easy for weeds to grow right around them. Whether it could be sunlight, moisture, shade, root system, nutrients, the compost you use. There could be so many different things that actually just attracts the weeds. But it's going to be there. As soon as you see them, don't cut the weeds. Pull them out by the roots so they don't grow back. And whenever I do this, I make sure I actually change the soil constantly. I take it plant out and I replant it in another container with the same kind of soil. Don't ever change the kind of soil you use, because the plant is actually going to get used to that, whether it's a rough soil or hard soil. Now, it's actually said you should plant them around May or June. You can, but it's March. I'm planting mine and I'm getting it started. My advice, put it in the ground coming up in the beginning of May. I'm planting mine now. I already have mine grown. What I'm planning on doing is, after this is done, I'm going to put it in the ground at a certain time. Leave it the way it is. Let it grow up. Don't disturb the plant. If you see weeds around it, protect the plant. Move the weeds. Move them from the root, because that's actually going to be the problem you're going to face. You're going to have a weed problem with it. Everyone's going to have a weed problem. You're going to see it. If you don't see it, you'll win $1 million in the lottery one day. Who knows? May or June, my advice, plant it March-ish, which I obviously did. I actually started between, I think it was Valentine's Day, because I got my packets in. So it was about February 14th, I started doing the John's method, put it in there, leave the plant out, and then come March, you're actually going to start to see it grow. It's March 3rd right now, so it's growing pretty good. It's a really good plant. The thing is, you got to protect it. After the soybeans go, and when you get the soybeans, after they come out, wash them. If you want to set aside some seeds to actually replant, wash them, cleanse them, redo them in the John's method. Don't put them in the ground, put them right here. Because the second you put them in the ground and the weeds grow up, they will take that seed alive. Simple as that. That's what you need to do. So that's what you need to know for the soybean in order to plant it. It's a really good plant. And these are mines that, are actually, well, I have other plants that I'm going to show you. I have 300 videos to go. So that's the soybean plant right there.